Locking versus floating your interest rate. What does that mean? Let's talk about it. All right, so this is something you won't need to do or know more about until you have a home under contract and a closing date scheduled. But it is very important that you know the difference between locking your rate and floating your rate. Locking your rate simply means you are locked into the interest rate that you will have for the life of the loan throughout the mortgage approval process, closing date, and then every payment that you make on that loan until you either pay it all off or refinance. Floating your interest rate is more risky. Floating it means that you are willing to bet that rates will come down during your mortgage approval process and before closing. Some questions to consider between locking and floating, and these are great to ask your mortgage broker or loan officer that you're working with. What economic data releases are coming up between now and my closing date? What is general sentiment between locking and floating in the market? Mortgage brokers and loan officers have access to tools that offer great suggestions based on economic data and trends that they're seeing as to what is better to do right now, lock or float. And finally, has anything happened at the macroeconomic level or perhaps Federal Reserve level that would suggest which one is better to do? You can do a lot of research on your own, but this is what mortgage brokers do. This is what loan officers do all day. And so it's important to ask for their advice. What do you think's best to do right now? Lock or float?